Welcome back to another race day vlog. We are headed back up to Belterra to once again watch Peach run in a circle a mile on the dirt. And I know some of you are going to be like, hold a second, last time you said 4 to 6 weeks. You said that the time before too. I did. For those of you who don't really know kind of how like the timing of things work, essentially it's average you see a horse run every 4 to 6 weeks. There are some cases you see him come a little bit sooner, and some cases you come a little bit after. It depends on the horse and does depend on the operation. However, it's fairly common when a horse runs to expect a workout about 2 to 3 weeks after they race, right? So instead of her working out, she's just been going into another race. It's kind of how the situation has been past couple times. We did change the jockey on her this time. So if we think back to Turfway, was it her last race at Turfway or the second to last race at Turfway? It was one of the races at Turfway where she got pinned kind of bad at the start. She got squeezed out of her position. She was like far, far back in the pack, like light years away from the rest of the field. And then she closed like a bat out of hell for 4th place. This is going to be that same rider. But kind of the thought process is just change the tactics, see if we can get somebody just a little bit more, not necessarily, when I say aggressive, I'm not talking about someone who's like, you know, beating the crap out of them. I'm talking about like just kind of a more aggressive type rider. For those of you who don't ride, it might be a little bit difficult to kind of explain. For those of you who ride, you very much know the difference between like a push ride horse and just like a easy moving, fresh forward horse. For those of you who don't know, she herself is more of a horse you constantly have to like keep going forward. She kind of like, she has that great break and she's good the first turn, and then it's like she gets too relaxed, takes a nap, she goes la da 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 da. She's out here looking at butterflies, looking at the scenery, like, oh, this is a nice day, isn't this nice, the weather's nice, it's a little hot today. That's kind of how she is. And so in order to kind of keep her focused on what she's supposed to do, you just need someone who's kind of either constantly talking to her, constantly kind of trying to push her a little bit, maybe wake her up a little bit. That's just what she kind of needs. So like, she'll in the future be something that when she goes on to be an eventer, I say is probably going to be, you need a rider with a deep seat that is kind of a more driven rider, not just someone who likes to just kind of like hold them back or anything. She's gonna need someone who actually rides her through the fences, I have a feeling. Anyway, so we headed up to Belterra. I'm again recording all this after it's the weekend, and it threw me off because I very recently switched to day shift, and so I'm not used to like the world right now. I have like no concept of time management right now. It's gone. So I'm definitely recording this afterwards. But yeah, overall, I honestly didn't really check the field before I left. The 7 was in the exact same race against us last time. I will say, when I showed up to the paddock, the horse that I looked at and I was like, this is a pretty impressive horse, like physically, was the 6. That's just like when they were walking around. Peach is a big, pretty filly in person. Like, she's easily 17 hands, big dark bay filly, so she catches a lot of attention. But when they're all walking in a circle, I was like, that 6 is a really nice looking horse. And so that was my essential paddock pick, but I hadn't really looked at the field. I kind of just was like, we'll just go and see what happens. TVG once again put us as the first pick, and as I said before, every time they put us as the first pick, we don't win. And so I was like, maybe the 3rd time's a try, you know? Let's see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to take you over there, show you how it went. I'll walk you through the race like always, and we'll wrap it up because I have more race vlogs coming up this week. Because like I said, it's supposed to be a busy week. Hopefully we're getting there. It's summertime now. All the stuff is happening, which is really exciting. Anyway, let's go.
And they're off. Will Virginia Dare jets out. Off a beat slow is Queen Lexi. Will Virginia Dare jets off a lead. Snap Judgment comes right up the inside as the fillies make the way in the first turn. Will Virginia Dare leads by a length and a half. Snap Judgment in the orange jacket in second to the outside. Back up Ghost is third. 2 more lengths back. Apple Lover rounds out the top 4. 5 more back along the inside. Comic Book sneaking right up the inside. Shadowed by In a Peach to the outside. And 6 to the trailer is Queen Lexi. Opening quarter on the board of 24 and 4. And with the lead, that is Will Virginia Dare, leads by 4.5 lengths to the outside. Back up Ghost is starting to pick it up. Down against the rail, Snap Judgment in the orange jacket. A length and a half back to Apple Lover in fourth. Against the rail is Comic Book. 2 more lengths back. In a Peach is yet to be called upon, and trailing the field is Queen Lexi. Half on the board of 48 and 1 as they round the far turn. Make that 49 and 1, and they slowed it down just a tick. Will Virginia Dare is 5 to the good. Back up Ghost is now called upon. Back up Ghost is uncorking a rally as they reach the quarter pole and set down for the stretch drive. And with the lead is Will Virginia Dare. Augustin Gomez tipping out for clear sailing. Here comes back out Ghost on the outside under Victor LeBron. Now back up Ghost drops right over the rail. It's Will Virginia Dare with the lead, dropping over to the rail. Back up Ghost taking the shortest way home under LeBron. And back up Ghost pokes ahead in front. Outside Will Virginia Dare. These two are tooth and nail all the way to the wire. Will Virginia Dare hangs on in the shadow of the wire.
All right, you've already seen the race. Let's break it down and talk about it. She's coming out of the 5 hole. She breaks really well out of here. And like I said, the 6, in my opinion, was the paddock pick. And honestly, I hadn't looked at any of the races prior, so I didn't know what he normally did. But knowing the jockey, I was like, yeah, they're probably going to go right to the front anyway. And that's exactly what they did. She hangs out kind of wide going around the turn. However, she prefers to be out wide rather than up against the rail, so that is what it is. They weren't going to make a wild cut to get to the rail anyway, didn't need to. This is right about here at the 7, which is next to her, kind of starts to pull away from her and get closer to the field. I do wish she had tried to move and hang with the 7 as they, just like, because obviously they're not taking off, making big moves. Like, she's just kind of creeping closer, right? And so I kind of wish that she had went with her because I think that would have helped and they wouldn't have to have closed as much. Anyway, this isn't like a super fast pace or anything. The 6 is out there nice and comfortable up front. That middle section is kind of starting to bunch just a touch. And she's vibing out there with those big, long, gangly strides. But now the 7 is starting to backpedal a little bit and now she starts going. So this is where she's going to make her little bit of a move. And, like, when you look at it, she makes such a big closing move. It's not necessarily that she runs out of space. It's just she just needs to make it sooner, or at least needs to make it so she doesn't have to make such a big move. She saves ground going between horses, and it's pretty clear from here that she's definitely going to get third. And honestly, I don't even think if the race was any longer, she would have caught those front 2. Those 2 were having a lot of fun out there battling it out. And I'll be first to say, that was a gritty performance by that 6. Like, she even almost took a loss, and then she came back and fought back for it. And Peach wrapped up 3rd place with quite a bit of distance between her and the 4th and 5th place. But yeah, overall, I was definitely more satisfied with, like, this performance compared to the last couple. And I know, on paper, you're looking at it, and you're like, but she's 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 4th. Like, what is the difference between those ones and this one? It's definitely, she, like, tried. Like, you could tell she kind of got it, like, she was relaxed in the paddock. She was happy about all that. Like, she went out there, she tried, she had a good effort. And, like, when they're walking back, they always walk past us when they're walking back to the barn. And you can, she's always a pretty easygoing filly. She's always kind of like, da-da-da-da-da. But, like, when she was coming back, like, she was coming back, you could see she was kind of like, yeah. Like, I was like, yes, you were proud of yourself. You did much better this time. This is more similar, in my opinion, to the race that actually with the same jockey where she ran at Turfway, where she finished 4th and she was closing like a bat out of hell. That was kind of a very similar effort to what she gave this round. I was like, this was a good effort from you. This was a better trying race. Like, that is good. But yeah, so that's kind of how that went. Overall, I was satisfied with that race. That was fine. And when is she going to run next? I don't know. She's been running every 2 weeks, which is not that big of a deal. Can you not get that fly off of your cannon bone? He's trying so hard. Goodness. The flies are bad here. Like, bless you. We moved here earlier this winter, and I knew immediately we were going to have issues with bugs because there's a creek that runs up down by the side, and there's a pond. And I was like, oh, Bug City. Sure enough, these flies, it's only just beginning. Anyway, lost track. Overall, I was satisfied with her performance. When is she going to run next? She's been running every 2 weeks, so I wouldn't be overly surprised to see her again in 2 weeks. Going back at Belterra, going a mile over the dirt. I did throw it back out into the universe. I'm not morally opposed to seeing her back on the turf, but only at Belterra. She does not handle Indiana's turf course very well. She kind of treats it like an ice skating ring around the turns, but like Belterra's a little bit firmer, so she has a better handle on it. Because she doesn't mind the turf. It was just Indiana was she said, I don't like this here. I'm like, okay. We were all kind of like, it's fine. We don't have to do that again. And also, for those of you who don't know, we have a thing called a condition book. And that book basically tells us whether, like, what their races that they're planning on running for that meet, right? And so they have races listed for longer than a mile for her that are technically in her level. But sometimes they either don't fill, or most of the ones are not in her level, or they're on the turf, or they're for colts. Well, fillies can run against the colts, but sometimes she's not something I would run against the colts. She's something I would keep with the fillies. And so it's just like, sometimes it just, they just don't in line with when she's needing to run. It's just hard to find a race that's longer for her. Anyway, but that is something that also is a potential. What are you all eating? Oh, hoof clippings. Anyway, so that's kind of the plan. So I don't know. She could either run 2 weeks or she could run in 4 or 6. I don't really know. I'm just here. She likes Belterra, and she's been happy, healthy, fit. I happened to go see her. Today is the day after the race. Yes. And so I'm going to slide in like a really small thing afterwards because we went and saw her today at the training center. And so obviously she was bright, happy eyed. I mean, I walked over and she immediately like sticks her head out and she's trying to play. She was like, do you have anything for me? I was like, no, you don't even like treats. She goes, nope, but I will take something from you, with her lips. I was like, don't have anything for you though. You don't even like it, treats. Anyway, in other news, obviously, I have other kids to talk about. Mikasa was supposed to run on Tuesday. We had entered her in for a race on the turf going short over at Indiana, and the race didn't fill. I think it filled. Something happened. They had horses for the race, but the race just didn't go. It was all I was told. I was like, cool, phenomenal. So she was supposed to run Tuesday, but the race didn't go. They have a race that they're drawing for on Monday, which is tomorrow. She should run Saturday, which I think is still going to be a short turf, a sprinting turf race is the plan. It's what I was told this morning. I went and saw her today, and she was very cute. They're sisters, and they're very, very similar, but Peach is definitely more of like a casual, like, oh, humans here, like, let's meander over. Peach is like not Peach. Mikasa is like my human, like people. Cuddle. Peach is just like, oh yeah, you're here, I guess I'll make use of you, kind of thing. And then they have a sister that's a yearling, and she's kind of similar to how Peach is right now. Just genetics, man. It's all the mom for personality wise. They all just so even keel. Anyway, we're still actually heading up to, I got distracted. We're still heading up to Indiana on Tuesday anyway, because you all get to see our 2-year-old run she is going to be going up to Indiana. I think she's going 5 on the dirt is what it was. Yes, no, maybe. I've kind of mentioned her briefly, I think in the past couple videos, because I knew she was getting close to being ready. I own this filly in a partnership. I own one leg. I own 25%. And so my whole thing, I've told them, I'm going to be your easiest owner with her, because I know you have a bajillion other people with her. Like, I will just pay my bill, and if I have any questions, comments, concerns, I will direct it to the 2 people who you are mainly talking to. You ain't going to hear Pete from me you all got them chattering in your ear. I ain't gonna add to it, you know? So with that whole situation, with this filly in particular, we've partnered with them before. This is my first time hopping into the partnership, but we've partnered with them before. And kind of the deal is it's not uncommon if you have a horse that performs very well first or second asking, that people will offer privately to buy a horse from you. And so we've entertained the offer before. What was it, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's actually happened with that kiddo and his sister, where people have offered to buy them privately after their debut. Him, I turned down because I owned him, and I was just like, no. And because it was the whole thing, and he's just weird. The sister, I know that they did attempt to sell her, and she quote unquote didn't pass their vetting, but they never specified what the issue was. And so I don't know, it was a thing. And so that was kind of a waste of time, and they ended up not selling her, and so we still have her. But obviously that is a potential that's on the table with these partners in general. So I know that, you know, if she does well in her debut, it wouldn't be a surprise if we are offered the chance to sell her and they take it. But I also know the other topic of conversation was if she does well, and if she's something interesting enough, then we might keep her ourselves for a broodmare and potentially sell her mother, who's currently carrying a full sibling. So that's the kind of two like loose options that was like very briefly discussed last year, 2 years ago, something of that nature. Like, and I flat out told them, I'll do whatever the heck y'all want to do. I'm just here for the ride. So don't get overly attached. She's definitely one that you might see her once or twice and then we sell her, or she might be one that's here long term. I guess we're gonna find out type thing down the road. I don't know. I'm just here. Anyway, so yeah, the racing vlogs are definitely picking up a little bit now that it's summer and everyone's starting to do fun, cool things. And hopefully I'm in the process of getting back on day shift. Last week was my first week on day shift, and I was kind of loosely planning on, I'll do just a very casual, like a relaxed day on the farm type thing, you know, and I never had time to film it. So I think once I'm finally back in my groove, hopefully I'll start filming casual stuff, and you all get to see the older babies again. And then every time I talk, this one headphone, it's just this one headphone. I don't know. I think my ear is smaller or something on this side. It got knocked out of my head. Yesterday. Freaking baby knocked it off of my ear. She headbutted me and I lost it, and I spent 15 minutes looking for my headphone, and I was like, I don't want to be here. You should see the freaking bruise on my thigh from a baby. Babies are all cute and cuddly and you love them, but then they also turn on you, and then it's just I love them, but sometimes their mamas don't teach them manners. Sometimes I have to. Anyway, I'm not like, my ADHD is on fire today. So like I was saying, hopefully I will finally get my groove back next week and start doing a little bit of day shift stuff, just like casual, catch up with some of these babies around the farm. Maybe show kind of just a very chill day that goes on. And then honestly, we are going to be starting sale prep here soon, and so that's going to be a whole shebang that will definitely be taking up quite a bit of time. But I definitely know racing side, there's going to be a lot of fun stuff happening here soon, because we have a client as well that has a very interesting kiddo that is cooking up some things. And so it's been a little bit interesting to watch it all play out. Like this client started out 6 years ago, like 2 days ago was his anniversary of visiting us for the first time. And he bought his first mare 2 years later. So within 4 years, he has created something wild. Like, granted, he has the money to do so, but even with the money, sometimes you just don't get lucky like that. And he's gotten lucky. Like, he has, out of his first crop alone, he only had 4 babies. I think 3. All of them are winners. 2 of them are stakes winners. Not only are they stakes winners, but they're greatest stakes winners. One of them is a greatest stakes winner here in the U.S., and the other one is a great stakes winner over in Japan. And they have been very actively talking to us about potentially bringing that horse from Japan over to the U.S. for a hopeful Breeders' Cup this year. And the other horse that's the greatest stakes winner in the U.S. is more than likely going to go to Breeders' Cup the end of this year. It's wild to think about it sometimes. And then his other one that is a winner but not greatest stakes place, he is a great little consistent horse he was in Florida. I think he's back up at Mountaineer right now. It's wild. My first group, I know this is totally gone off topic. My first group, Peach is my very first of like my products. No, that's such, I mean, it's not wrong, but like of my first group, my first babies, Peach is my only one from that group. But my second group, I had Mikasa and 2 others, and one of them just ran in a stake race in Mexico. She didn't win, but it was a good effort, so I wouldn't be surprised to see her back in a stake again. Anyway, but that was with a $2,000 stud fee, not with a $125,000 stud fee like the other kid. Anyway, I am rambling. I need to go take a nap. No, I need coffee is really what I need. I know it's 6 p.m., but coffee's phenomenal right now. My horse is also staring at me like, are you not going to let me out? I will let you out momentarily. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I will once again see you all a little bit later this week with more racing vlog stuff because we got to go to Indiana. And I guess we'll see what else I can manage. And hopefully I don't... What are you doing? Anyway, I'm going to stop staring at my children and stop rambling. And I will see you all next time.